All right, you and your friend play a video game. You have a final score of 20 points, and your friend has a final score of -10. By how many points did you win? Write a subtraction problem. So we're going to take the new score minus the original, or we're going to take your score minus your friend. So we have 20 points minus the friend's points. Anytime we subtract, we do change opposite. So I'm going to keep my first, change subtraction to addition, take the opposite of -10. My new problem is 20 plus 10, which is 30. I beat my friend by 30 points. All right, number 2, the water level is 8 feet below your dock. Below means that's going to be negative. The tide goes out and the water level lowers 2 feet. So that's going to be negative. And then the surge comes in and the water rises 3 feet. That's going to be positive. It says write an addition expression. So that means our problem will be -8 plus -2 plus 3. If it asks for an addition problem, we need to make sure we have addition signs. Now, you guys are used to having vertical math problems that go up and down. But now that we're in 7th grade, we're going to go from left to right and create horizontal math problems. That way it's easy to keep up with your signs. If you start doing vertical math problems, you're going to lose your sign and get it wrong. Okay, so I've written left to right. -8 plus -2. I can only add 2 numbers at a time. So I'm going to start with my first 2 numbers. They're both negative. Sign's the same. Find the sum. 8 plus 2 is 10. Keep the sign. Bring everything else down. Now I have a completely new problem. I'm not looking at this one anymore. Now I'm looking at -10 plus 3. Different signs. Find the difference. 10 minus 3 is 7. The bigger number is negative, so my answer is -7 feet. Make sure you have your units. All right, for number 3, we know this is an addition problem because it says write an addition expression and evaluate. So we're going to write the number expression or the number sentence while we're reading it. Jake has $100. He spends, so that's going to be -$15 at Tasty Sub, then $10 at Wawa. As he's walking home, he finds a $20 bill. Then Brandon borrows $40, that's going to be negative. And then Jake does some chores, so he earns 35, so that's going to be positive. I've got my long number sentence written out. And now I'm going to work from left to right. I have 100 plus -15. My signs are different, so I subtract. That's positive 85. I'm finished with those 2 numbers. I'm going to bring everything else down. Then I go to my next 2 numbers. 85 plus -10. My signs are different. I find the difference. Bring everything else down. My next 2 numbers are 75 plus 20. That's basic math. 75 plus 20 is 95. Bring everything else down. I'm solving 2 numbers at a time, and then just all I'm doing is carrying everything else down. So I continue going until I'm left with 1 number. 95 plus -40. My signs are different, so I subtract. And that is 55. And 55 plus 35 is $90. Jake has $90 left at the end of the day. All right, number 4, you start at an elevation. I know you see the word elevation, and sometimes we automatically think that means positive, but that's not necessarily true because The elevation is 550 meters below sea level. Below sea level means that's going to be negative 550. You increase your elevation by 45 meters, so now this is plus positive 45. My signs are different, so I'm going to subtract. 550 minus 45 is negative 505 meters. Bigger number is negative, so my answer is negative. All right, we have another addition problem. A roller coaster climbs 105 feet, that's positive. Then drops 30 feet, that's negative. Then climbs 50 feet. Then drops 20 feet. So the commutative property says it doesn't matter what order you add in. So since I'm adding all of these, I can go ahead and group similar signs. So because we have same sign, find the sum, I can go ahead and say, well, 105 plus 50, off the top of my head, I know that's 155. And negative 30 plus negative 20, the signs are the same. We know that 30 plus 20 is 50. So that's plus negative 50. So we can go ahead and add like signs. That way it's shorter steps instead of working left to right. If you understand it better working left to right, that's fine. Keep doing that. But if you're looking for a shortcut, you can say, okay, well, commutative property says I can add in any order. Let me go ahead and add my positives, add my negatives, and then I'll find the difference at the end. And the difference between 155 plus negative 50 is positive 105 feet. All right, for number 6, we have a subtraction problem. So it says subtraction, we're going to take the temperature falls from negative 7 to negative 20. What is the change in these temperatures? So we're going to take the new temperature and subtract where the temperature started. So negative 20 minus negative 7. Anytime we have a subtraction problem, we do keep, change, opposite. That's negative 20 plus positive 7. Now my signs are different, so I'm going to subtract. 20 minus 7 is 13. The bigger number is negative, so it's negative 13. All right, so let's look at the next one. A scuba diver dives down 70 feet, so that's going to be negative 70. Then swims down another 40 feet. It's an addition problem, so I'm going to add negative 70 plus negative 40. My signs are the same, so I add them. 70 plus 40 is negative 110 feet. My signs are the same, so I find the sum and then keep my sign. All right, the next one. A dolphin is at an elevation of negative 40. It swims up and jumps out of the water to 10 feet. Write a subtraction problem. So we're going to take the new elevation, 10, subtract the original elevation. Now, don't be confused that because we're subtracting that we're just going to do 10 minus 40. There's a difference in 10 minus negative 40 and 10 minus 40. Here, the 40 is positive. But this says that it's at an elevation of negative 40, so this is the correct equation or expression. So we're going to do keep, change, opposite to get 10 plus positive 40, which is 50 feet. The dolphin travels 50 feet to get to the new elevation. All right, Leslie deposits $60. So deposit means positive. Then she withdraws, that's negative. Later that day she earns, so that's going to be positive. Commutative property says that it doesn't matter what order I add in, so I can go ahead and combine 60 plus 30 is 90 and bring down the plus negative 20. My signs are different, so I subtract, and she has left over $70. All right, let's look at the next one. Alex's credit card balance is negative 200. After a loan from Julia, she makes a payment of $50. So she's going to add $50 to her bill, and that leaves us with negative $150. She still owes $150. Rex, Michael, and Lewis decide to go to Antarctica. The temperature that morning is negative 10. By late afternoon, the temperature rises 16. So that's negative 10 plus 16. My signs are different, so I subtract. And by that afternoon, the temperature is 6 degrees Fahrenheit. My bigger number is negative, so my bigger number is positive, so my answer stays positive. All right, the next one says Rob and Abby go snorkeling. They start at an elevation of 4 meters above sea level. Then they dive down, so plus negative 16. My signs are different, so I subtract. Negative 12 represents their location under the water after they dive down. Todd begins to walk down a mountain with an elevation of 80 meters above sea level. He hikes all the way down to the valley below sea level with an elevation of negative 40. What is his change in elevation? So we're going to do new, negative 40, minus original, where he started. When we subtract, we use additive inverse to do keep, change, opposite. That's negative 40 plus negative 80. My signs are the same, so I add them together, and that is negative 120 meters. He has gone down 120 meters. The temperature in Canada on one day was negative 10 degrees Fahrenheit. The temperature on the next day was 20 degrees Fahrenheit. What was the change? So we're going from negative 10 to 20. We're going to subtract new minus the first day. Using additive inverse, we do keep, change, opposite to see that there was a 30-degree change. And the last one. A goldfish is at an elevation of negative 50 feet. It swims up and jumps out of the water to a height of 2 feet. Find the vertical distance the goldfish travels. So we're taking the new height minus where the goldfish started. Use additive inverse to do keep, change, opposite. And we will find that there was a 52-foot difference.